Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Drawing Down the Stars. I'm Snappy, and thank you for joining me for our live tarot session today, November 12th, 2024. It's a beautiful day. It's a wonderful evening. Let's give a shout out to everyone here in the chat. Great to see you, Lisa. Much love, Atma. Good to see you, Kari. Much love, Holler Haint. Good to see you, Exit. Ganymede, much love. Beatnik, good to see you. Leslie Cellini, good to see you. Christy, much love. Daphne, great to see you. Gandhi, much love. D-Love, great to see you. Isaac, much love. Gomikuzu, great to see you. Awesome. Amazing. Good to see you, Nikosmas. Geronimo, good to see you. All right. Taz, good morning. Great to see you all. Thank you guys for joining me. Beautiful day. Let's start by talking first about the astrology. We are now in the moon in Aries. Beautiful, intense, fiery, passionate energy. Now is a moment when you can really take that leap. You can have the strength and the courage to follow your passions, to follow your dreams, to follow your heart. Just be careful you don't do something too rashly, too quick. But this energy is needed. It's beautiful energy. Aries is that fire lit under our butts that tells us we need to get out of Dodge, that we need to do something. It's that active force that moves us forward. And under this sun in Scorpio, we are laid bare, where we are exposed and connected. This fire can be truly intense. We can really see what we need to do, what we want to do. And it's important that we trust in our intuitions. Just don't burn any bridges unneededly, right? Take action, but move with reason always. And let's talk for a moment about the title today. Tap into the dream and embrace creativity. What's funny enough is I drew the same card again. I haven't done that yet for the significator. And I drew the High Priestess 2 days in a row. And it is that same intense energy again. It's that same idea of connecting to that unconscious, connecting to the imagination, to the dream, and bringing this into reality through that creative impulse, through that intuition, through that connection and understanding, right? The priestess is the one who has the power to envision and then to create. She is that weave. She does the long work. She goes across worlds, right? It's powerful, beautiful, incredible magic, pure feminine magic. And it comes from that imagination and that persistence and that doing of the work, doing that disciplined action, right? The priestess is the one who does the weaving. That is long and tedious in order to create that long, beautiful pattern, that beautiful image, right? That dream come to life. But it begins with a stitch, right? It begins with a stitch. And this is what we're called. We are called to take action. We are called to start to imagine and to bring those imaginations into reality, like that priestess energy. And I wanted to read for you guys a fun poem by Madison Kawine. It's called Dream Road. I took the road again last night on which my boyhood's hills look down. The old road leading from the town, the village there below the height, its cottage homes all huddled brown, each with its blur of light. The old road full of ruts that leads a winding streak of limestone gray over the hills and far away, that's crowded here by arms of weeds and elbows of rail fence as way with flowers that no one heeds. That's dungeoned here by rocks and trees and maundered too by waters. They're lifted into the free wild air of meadowland serenities. the old road stretching far and fair to where my tired heart sees, that says, come, take me for a mile, and let me show you mysteries, the things the yellow moon there sees, and those few stars that round her smile. Come, take me now you are at ease, and walk with me a while. And I took it at its word, and friendships closed in olden guise walked with me, and as I surmise, old dreams for 20 years unheard, and love who gazed into my eyes as once when youth adored, and voices, vocal silences, and visions that my youth had seen slipped each side in silvery green, and spoke to me in memories, and recollections smiled between my tear-wet face and trees. Enchantment walked by field and farm and whispered me on either side, and where the fallows broadened wide, dim mystery waved a moon-white arm. Or from the woodland, moon-beamed eyed, beckoned a filmy form. Spirits of wind and starlight wove from fern to fen a drowsy dance. Oh, o'er the wood stream hung a trance, and from the leaves that dreamed above, the elfin dew dropped many a lance of light and glimmering drove star arrows through the warm and musk that sparkled on the moss and loam and shook from bells of wildflower foam, the bee-like music of the dusk, and rimmed with spars the lily's dome and morning glory's tusk. And soft as cobwebs I beheld the moths they say that fairies use as krowsers, come by ones and twos from stables of the blossoms belled, while busily among the dews where croaked the toad and swelled. The nimble spider climbed his thread, or diagrammed a dim design, or flung above a slender line to launder dews upon. Overhead, an insect drew its dagger fine and stabbed the stillness dead. And there, far at the lane's dark end, a light showed like a glow-worm lamp, and through the darkness summer damp and old rose garden seemed to send sweet word to me as of a camp of dreams around the bend. And there a gate, where at mid deeps of honeysuckle dewness she stood, whose lips were mine to press. How long ago? For whom still leaps my heart with longing, and no less with passion here that sleeps. The smiling face of girlhood, eyes of wine warm brown, and heavy hair auburn as autumn is lair, took me again with swift surprise, as oft they took me coming there in days of bygone ties. The cricket and the katydid pierce silence with their stinging sounds. The firefly went its golden rounds, where lifting slow one sleepy lid, the baby rosebud dreamed in mounds of lilies breezed half hid. The white moon waded through a cloud, like some pale woman through a pool, and in the darkness, close and cool, I felt a form against me bowed, her breast to mine, and deep and full, her maiden heart beat loud. I never dreamed it was a trick that fancy played me, memory, and moonlight, yet it may be the old road too. That night was quick with dreams that were reality to every stone and stick. For instantly when overheard the moon swam there, where soft had gleamed that vision, now no creature seemed, only a ruined house and shed. Was it a dream the old road dreamed, or I of her long dead? Beautiful, right? What is the dream but a fleeting moment, a connection? But it is that memory that sustains us into generation. All right, let us continue. We're now going to go to our Ganapati oracle. Ganesha Ganapati is the divine child, the Lord of beginnings, the guardian of the threshold, and the master of the spirits, the Ganas. And we asked them to send us a message and ensure that our words are heard by those who need to hear them. So, Lord Ganapati, what is the inspiring message? And today's message is generosity. Generosity. Beautiful energy, giving energy, caring energy, right? Self-sacrificing energy. Generosity is not just in the act of giving, it's in the act of recognition. It's in the act of perceiving when someone is in need and then doing the right thing, the generous thing, giving of the self, right? Giving of what one has in order to uplift someone else. To truly be generous is to be truly helpful, right? It is to be uplifting. It is to be loving. It is to share your abundance and to recognize that your abundance belongs to others, right? And that it's meant to be given. It's meant to be given. Wow. Beautiful energy, right? And generosity is how we are meant to be in that flow, in that sharing reciprocal love. And it is hard energy to embody, but it is such beautiful energy. All right. Let us now, go to our sortes. The sortes is a form of bibliomancy, that is divination through literature. And it comes to us from the Greco-Roman tradition, and we invoke the goddesses of inspiration, the divine muses, and we ask them to send us a message through the text. And today we're going to begin with Euripides' 10 plays. So muses, what is the inspiring message? Guide my hand. I shall have worse sorrows, forced to lie in the bed of Greeks. Oh my gosh. This is just a funny line. You know, it's been an interesting day energy-wise today for me personally. You know, and it's always a recognition, you know, there's always going to be worse coming. And I've made my bed, you know, I've made my bed with those Greeks. Interesting. Interesting. Let us continue. All right. Byron. Selected poetry and letters. Muses, what is the message from Lord Byron? Inspire us this evening. And oh, if e'er I should forget, I swear, but that's impossible and cannot be. Sooner shall this blue ocean melt to air, sooner shall earth resolve itself to sea, than I resign thine image, O my fair, or think of anything excepting thee, and mine disease no remedy can psychic. Wow. Here the ship gave a lurch, and he grew seasick. This is beautiful imagery. This is so perfect, right? Even when we are tossed upon the sea and made sick to our stomach, we do what? We cry out in loving adoration to that muse, to that goddess. And oh, if e'er I should forget, I swear, but that's impossible and cannot be. Sooner shall this blue ocean melt to air, sooner shall earth resolve itself to sea, than I resign thine image, O my fair, or think of anything excepting thee. A mind diseased no remedy can psychic. Here the ship gave a lurch, and he grew seasick. We persist. We persist in that connection to that muse, to that inspiration, in spite of the rocky road, in spite of the turbulent seas, in spite of the necessary purgation, right? Purgation is necessary. Anyone who has gone through these kind of magical rites will understand what I mean. It is often in those moments of deepest purgation that the greatest understanding is felt. All right. Let us continue. Goethe, Faust. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Faust? Inspire us this evening. Come often over here to me and dress up fine where none can see, and walk before the mirror here, a joy for both of us, my dear. Wow. I feel that muse on full display. Come often over here to me and dress up fine where none can see. Right? You're doing it for that inspiration, that connection to beauty, for just that love of the muse. And it is not about being perceived by the outside world. It is about that adoration of self and of the muse, that engagement with the mirror. Wow. And walk before the mirror here, a joy for both of us, my dear, a joy for both of us, right? We are allowed and we are encouraged to be beautiful, and we are encouraged to be inspired by our own beauty. You know, there's something truly powerful about engaging in the mirror and seeing yourself and being proud of that image. Interesting. But do it for yourself, not for the perception of others, right? And for that muse. Paradise lost and paradise regained. Milton. Muses, what is the message from Milton? Inspire us this evening. Why am I mocked with death and lengthened out to deathless pain? How gladly would I meet mortality, my sentence, and earth sensible? How glad would lay me down as in my mother's lap? Why am I mocked with death and lengthened out to deathless pain? How gladly would I meet mortality, my sentence, and be earth insensible? How glad would lay me down as in my mother's lap? And there you're seeing the truth of that image of death, laying down into your mother's lap and returning back into that womb, returning back into that warmth, that dark place that begins creation, right? You began in darkness. You began in that mother's lap, in her bosom. Beautiful. All right, let us continue. We are now going to go to Don Juan in Hell. Muses, what is the message from Bernard Shaw and Don Juan in Hell? In the heaven, I seek no other joy, but there is the work of helping life in its struggle upward. In the heaven, I seek no other joy, but there is the work of helping life in its struggle upward. The greatest joy and the greatest struggle is that journey upward, that journey to responsibility and to transcendence, doing that work of transformation. Beautiful. All right, let's continue. We're going to go now to the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. Muses, what is the message from the Tao Te Ching? Inspire us. Those who possessed in highest degree the attributes of the Tao did not seek to show them, and therefore they possessed them in fullest measure. Those who possessed in a lower degree those attributes sought how not to lose them, and therefore they did not possess them in the fullest measure. True power is something that comes naturally. It just flows. It is about that connection to life. And it's about that acceptance. Right? Interesting. Let us continue. We are now going to go to A Sinister Assassin by Antonin Artaud. Muse, what is the message from Antonin Artaud? Inspire us. And in that case, where did the beasts come from? From that, the world of corporeal perceptions hasn't achieved what it plans and is still incomplete. From that, there's a mental life, but no true organic life. From that, the simple idea of a pure organic life can even present itself. From that, it's been possible for a distinction to be drawn between pure organic nascent life and the life that is heated up and integrally concrete of the human body. We've seen parts of this before, right? Where did the beast come from? From that world of corporeal perceptions, right? From that imagination, from the half seen, right? From what has not been fully achieved, what is incomplete. And there's a mental life that exists, right? Even though these things are half created, they have a mental life, right? But no true organic life. You know, they're just a simple idea of what pure organic life can potentially represent, right? From that, it's been possible for a distinction to be drawn between pure organic nascent life and the life that is heated up and integrally concrete of the human body, right? When we all think upon these things, you know, these imaginary beings take on a life of their own, right? We talk about this often. Daimones, right? Muses, all these variant spirits. What are they truly, right? Interesting. Let's continue. We're going to go now to Magia by Alan Chapman. Muses. Got my hand. What is the message from Alan Chapman? By making sense of the experience or the realization, you are binding it into time, sowing a seed of eternity into the soil of existence. Saturnian magic. There is that cutting, right? That perception. By making sense of the experience, by understanding it, right? You are binding it into that moment of understanding, into that experience, sowing a seed of eternity into the soil of existence, sowing the seed, making love, right? Yeah, the dragon's teeth in the field of Aries that gives birth to the spar toy, right? The field of Aries where the golden fleece lays that must be crossed. The field of Aries that Hercules must cross. Wild. To sow that seed of eternity. Let's continue. We are now going to go to Women Who Run with Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes. Muses, what is the message from Christina Pinkola Estes? The king helps the maiden live more ably in the underworld of her work. And this is good, for sometimes in the descent, a woman feels less like an acolyte and more like a poor monster who has accidentally strayed from the mad doctor's laboratory. From their vantage point, however, the underworld figures see us as a blessed life in struggle. By underworld sights, we are a strong flame beating against the dark glass in order to break it and be freed. And all the helping forces there in the lower home rush to support us. The kings help the maiden live more ably in the underworld of her work. Right? This is beautiful. There's something that a lot of people don't fully recognize, is that even though there is this abduction of the Corey, the Kori then goes to the underworld and she transcends the throne and she becomes the active force. You know, Hades, Idonius is the hidden one. She is the one who rules, right? And we see this in Apuleius, the golden axe. When Psyche goes to the underworld, she does not see Hades. She sees Persephone, and she is warned about Persephone's judgment, and she is taught not to eat of Persephone's food. Right? Because there is a different understanding that goes on here. What appears as an abduction may not be fully an abduction. And also, what happens is that Persephone becomes transcendent. She overcomes her situation. She transforms her situation. She gives birth to wealth, to Plutus, to the child to come, right? She overcomes and she raises the next generation. This is an ongoing theme. We see this in Lemnos with the Athenian women who are abducted, and then they raise the next generation, not as Lemnian, but as Athenian. You know, there's power in this resistance and in the creation of the next generation, you know, and there's power behind this that's happening here, where that Persephone becomes the power of the throne, and she is aided by that king. Interesting. Let's continue. All right. You're going to go now to Edgar Allan Poe, The Telltale Heart, and Other Stories. Muses, guide my hand. What is the message from Edgar Allan Poe? The whole affair, however, proved the ultimate means of my relief, as will presently appear. You know, I think this is about recognizing that often in our life, we will enter into these dramatic moments, these intense moments where things seem tumultuous and seem ridiculous, but often when we can persist through them and we can adapt and grow through the experience, we come out so much greater, so much stronger, so much better for it, you know? And our greatest, what appears to be our great struggle, becomes the source of our release, becomes the source of our growth, right? Again, I always think of the story of Christine de Pizan, who at her lowest, when she lost her husband, and she was forced to take on that role of that masculine provider in Middle Ages France, no less. This is when she ascended to the heights and became the first woman of letters in Europe and one of the most important philosophers of all time, right? But she had to overcome tragedy. That doesn't mean it was any less tragic or worth it. It's just the reality of that Fortuna power. You have to meet Fortuna and you have to adapt. And if you can adapt, you will become transcendent and you will grow. It's beautiful. All right, let's continue. We are now going to go to Three Tragedies by Lorca. Muses, what is the message from Federico Garcia Lorca? Inspire us. The hour of blood has come again. Two groups, you with yours and I with mine. After them, after them. Wow. Us against them. Two groups fighting. For what? Ridiculousness. We've seen this many times. We know how this goes, right? What happens in tit for tat? It just goes nowhere. I immediately think of the great story of the Oresteia. And Orestes, right? Even after he is able to satiate his duty as a son and achieves that justice, right? The Furies then come for him because now you've killed of your own bloodline. And then it takes the intervention of the great goddess herself, Athena, to calm the Furies and transform them into humanities. And she does it by taking their violence, by taking it and not hitting back, and instead establishing the courts of law. But this tit for tat, us against them, my side against your side, we all see it. We all see it. And you got to try to rise above it. The hour of blood is at hand. My gosh. We need one final sword taste. I can't end with that. That's too ominous. All right, what are we going to? Let's see here. We're gonna go to Sylvia Plath. All right. Muses, what is the message from Sylvia Plath? Inspire us this evening. They had a big rambling house up the street from us, set behind a morbid facade of pine trees and surrounded by scooters, tricycles, doll carriages, toy fire trucks, baseball bats, badminton nets, croquet wickets, hamster cages, and the cocker spaniel puppies, the whole sprawling paraphernalia of suburban childhood. The sprawling paraphernalia of suburban childhood. What an intense image. Big rambling house filled with garbage and too many kids. Rot and decay. Is that our present? Wow. All right. We are now going to go to our tarot proper. But before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does make a big difference and it boosts everything in the algorithm. I would truly appreciate it. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, you can reach out to me, snappydtts@gmail.com, or find me on the Myth and Lore Discord, Snappy or Lady Snappy. And today we're going to be using the Tabula Mundi Tarot of M.M. Moline, and we invoke the energy of Saturn and ask them to dissect our life, to cut it up and expose it upon the plate, to show us the interconnections. And we want to know how we can rise above the conflicts, how we can best move and flow, how we can manifest our true will, and what is the greater message for the community. And as always, the center card is the most important card. And today's center is the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups. Wow, beautiful energy. The nine is that expansive, loving energy of transcendent growth, of coming and pushing through things in that happiness of flow, and that happiness of community, of sharing, of reciprocity. Powerful, loving, beautiful energy. And what an incredible energy to have at our center in the beginning. And what I'm feeling here is this is about that communal connection, about working as a community for that expansive flow, for that profound energy, coming together for something greater in harmony. Where does this go? Now this gets so beautiful right from the start. Wow, the Princess of Cups. That communal energy is about nurturing that next generation. It's about providing that loving support and nourishment for her, for that child that needs to be satiated, that needs that loving emotional support that can uplift her to her heights, that can see her become that image of the Empress realized, or greater still, whatever she imagines herself to be. And that's the beauty of that loving cup energy. It will uplift her and allow her to manifest her true will through that nurturing nourishment. Love it. Where is this going? Wow. And on the other side, we have the victory. The Six of Wands, our passions realized. And we see here the drawing down of the stars, the descending of Pascal's triangle, the triple six, right? Lucifer's sigil. Beautiful, profound, successful energy, victorious energy, manifesting our dreams in reality in passionate flow. Wow. And this all happens when we pursue that communal connection and we work together. We work together with that inspiration, that fiery inspiration, and we direct it towards that nurturing energy that's sustaining the next generation, that long-term building of the future for the purposes of love and expansion. Let's continue. Beautiful. Right coming out of our Nine of Cups, that happiness, we see the work. What is this? We need to do that work of transforming the world around us, coming together as a community for the purposes of doing that work, of tilling the fields, of doing that hard work of manifestation, that prudential energy, that building energy, right? And this is us working as a community for the purposes of building the what is necessary to sustain and manifest and help that next generation. Where are we going? We see here the five, the worry, right? Because what is this is about is that we are building now upon that solid foundation. We are trying to manifest that temple. We're trying to build that physical space. We have created that communal energy of coming together, and now it's about manifesting it into the earth as that success. But first, it comes that worry. And that worry is done because of how do we manifest it? It's about doing the hard work to persist through this, doing the work necessary to transform that five into the six, right? To overcome the worry through persistence. In the dark moments, we stay strong. Where is it going? Wow, what more clear sign could we want? The Chariot, the one that pursues that lapis lazuli, that great powerful rider, the one who dons their armor, that enters the Merkaba, that engages life in motion, in creative action, that takes responsibility, right? The Chariot is beautiful, intense energy. And it's that energy of doing the work, right? Of taking the action, of taking responsibility, right? I immediately think of Krishna and Arjuna, right? And in his moment of great doubt and weakness, Arjuna cries out to Krishna, and it is Krishna who comes and reminds him of his duty, of his responsibility. And then what does Arjuna do? He takes action. And he does what is necessary because he knows it will manifest what is needed for that better reality, for that next generation, right? The Chariot is about taking responsibility in your own life, recognizing what your own duty is, recognizing what you need to do to get things done, about donning your armor and being true to your path, right? Doing the work necessary to overcome that worry, right? And we do it through hard work and perseverance. Let's continue. Wow. Prince of Swords energy. Connected to that happiness, we now see the Prince of Swords. We had the Princess of Cups, and now we see the Prince of Swords. Another youth energy, that airy of air, that absolute high-minded mystical energy. High up in the clouds, beyond, that energy of high-minded judgment. Interesting. And that immature energy, that energy that needs, again, that communal sustaining, that needs that work, right? Let's see where this is going. Wow. When we can tap into this high-minded mystical energy, that energy of the pursuit, that reckless energy, when we can connect to this youth and nurture them and provide for them, that's when we will have that success. That's when we will have the material success upon the earth. That's when we overcome the 5 discs. We overcome it by nurturing that next generation, by providing for them. And look, we're seeing the twins on full display again, right? Prince of Swords, Princess of Cups, mirrors of each other. Beautiful energy. Wow. 10 of Swords, ruin. Wow. This is really interesting in what we're seeing here is that there is in most of the twin energies, right? There is a letting go of one form and a raising up of another, a disengaging of a certain kind of energy, of a certain kind of way. And what I'm seeing here is, look, the Prince of Swords is reminiscent of a certain kind of high-mindedness, right? He's sitting there with the 10 Commandments written in stone, ideas, dogmas, divine from the stars, right? From the texts, high-minded intellectualism, powerful, beautiful energy, but it brings that ruin, that combat, that engagement, right? It's leading to nothing but that combat. And it is when we can overcome as this energy, we can take responsibility and we can disengage from the conflict that will manifest the success, right? The success is that lunar energy, and it's about transforming this prince into that princess. And we do that through the focus on that community, through loving flow and that muse, right? That next generation doing our responsibility, right? The chariot overcomes that ruin energy, right? It gets through that conflict. It moves beyond, right? This prince energy doesn't take full responsibility, right? This is the thing with the princes. If they could take full responsibility, they would be the knight. So what we're seeing here is the selfishness. We're seeing a recklessness that is leading to conflict, right? And we're seeing here that the way to overcome that conflict is about reconnecting to that water, that loving emotional, and to our responsibility, to what we are being called, right? That community, right? That will have success in the earth, that is about nurturing that next generation, not about that high-minded idealism that leads to these conflicts, And it's that passionate success, that fire, that connection to the muse that will allow us to overcome and get through this negativity, to break that cycle of ruin, right? We want to break that cycle of ruin and worry. And we do it through our community and our loving connections, right? Okay. I'm now going to flip my camera. But once again, before I do, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really does help. And leave a comment if you found this helpful. I really would appreciate it. And if you're at all interested in a private reading, you can reach out, snappydts@gmail.com. Okay, here, let's take a look. Princess of Cups, right? It's very clear here. We overcome the worry of the discs and we manifest success when we stop being in that selfish energy of the self and we start nurturing that princess, right? When we start approaching things from that loving energy of building in the earth, that earth of water, right? And we start manifesting our love into the earth. And we do it with that nurturing, raising energy of taking responsibility, of engaging that youth and engaging that next generation. And that is what will manifest success and overcome the worry, right? When we take responsibility for this and we commit to this and we give up that selfishness and we build in the earth, right? That earth of water. Look, the princess is the earth of water. She wants to build that love into the earth. And when we manifest more love, we transform that 5 to the 6. Right. Let's look here. That community energy, right? We overcome this Prince of Swords energy, that high-minded idealism, that recklessness, that dogmatism, you know, that the energy that is pursuing truth and logic, but is doing it in a very rash, in judgmental energy. We overcome that through work, through building into the earth, right? Through trying to do something real. You overcome that high-minded energy by connecting to community and by doing something real. Once you start having to do something real, all of a sudden things start to change here. That high-minded stuff stops mattering so much, and you wonder who's next to me and who's actually doing the work. And maybe it's less about so much about holding people to account for their specific beliefs, and it's more about the actions that people are willing to do, the investments that they make, and can they be counted upon. That's a very different energy than do they have right think. Interesting. Let's continue. That victory, right? We overcome the ruination. We break this cycle of the swords, this disappointment energy. We restart this cycle. We disengage from the conflict. We are reborn anew when we refocus on what our responsibility is. When we don our armor and we take action according to the true will as we understand it. This is about trusting in your intuition and taking responsibility in your own life, right? Moving in that flow, right? Not engaging in needless conflict, using this powerful energy of victory to move towards that success, right? Look, we go to our cross here. That chariot connects us to the community. It manifests that loving flow, that transformative growth that brings about that success in the earth, that plants that seed, transformation. But you have to disengage from this petty, argumentative energy, this outgoing, princely energy, this selfish, self-defeating energy, and instead try to build something tangible with people in loving flow by taking responsibility and being that example, being that exemplar, right? Working towards that next generation. Yeah, see? On either side, you have the worry and you have the ruin. And the key to overcoming both of these energies is about leaning into that community, leaning into those loving energies around you, the good people around you, and being in that creative building with others. And this energy will disconnect you from that negativity of ruination. It'll disconnect you from that worry because the community will provide for you. Right? This energy of the 9 has love to give, outpouring of love, and ever expanding love that'll lead to this transformative growth in the earth anyway. We just have to be fixated upon this, upon her, right? Letting go of one energy, one way of thinking, and pursuing another. It's about reconstituting ourselves and re-engaging in that next generation, not through conflict, but through loving connection, through communal building, and through nurturing energy in the earth, planting that seed and watering it. All right, everyone, that's the message. I hope it resonated with you. It certainly resonated with me. Let us do one final sortes and we'll call it an evening. We're going to go to Brave New World, Aldous Huxley. Muses, what is the message from Aldous Huxley? It was a large, bright room with sunshine and yellow paint and containing 20 beds, all occupied. Wow. It was a bright, beautiful room, but everyone was in sick beds, 20 different sick beds. Just because the area looks beautiful and bright, look around you. Is this energy sustaining? Right? Is it truly beautiful? All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Peace and love. And I hope I see you again tomorrow for more live tarot and sortes. Take care.